Now at 5, the state's top lawyer won't be able to practice law. Attorney General Curtis Hill's law license is suspended for 30 days. His response tonight.
Many hair salons and barber shops across the state are opening back up today. We'll tell you what extra precautions they're taking to keep you safe.
They both work in healthcare and were shocked with the letter involving their yard sign. I'm Rafael Sanchez. That story coming up on RTV6.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Thank you for joining us here at 5. I'm Amanda Starrentino in the WRTV studio.
And I'm Mark Mullins, continuing to practice social distancing from my temporary studio at my home. We begin tonight with a big development involving Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill and his ability to do his job and his response. The state Supreme Court ruled today that Hill's law license will be suspended for 30 days due to sexual misconduct allegations by 4 women, including a state lawmaker, in March of 2018. The suspension will begin a week from today, May 18th. The court ruled Hill violated the state's rules for professional conduct. Hill has denied the allegations. Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb, who called for Hill's resignation shortly after this all started, was asked about the decision today during his daily coronavirus briefing.
There's no good news in all of this for anyone and everyone that's involved in this specific case, but suffice it to say, my position, my personal position, has not changed since I reviewed the facts myself going on about 2 years ago.
Hill issued a response this afternoon that reads in part, quote, I accept with humility and respect the Indiana Supreme Court's ruling of a 30-day suspension of my license with automatic reinstatement. I have directed that beginning Monday, May 18th, Chief Deputy Aaron Nagengard will assume responsibility for the legal operations of this office during the temporary suspension of my license until it is reinstated on Wednesday, June 17th. My staff has worked tirelessly and without interruption and will continue to do so on behalf of all Hoosiers, end quote. The suspension is half the length of the 60-day suspension that was recommended by a former state Supreme Court justice who oversaw Hill's disciplinary hearing last fall. A special prosecutor declined in October to pursue any criminal charges against Hill. Hill, by the way, is currently seeking re-election.
And today is the first day hair salons and barber shops in most Indiana counties can open to the public. And people were waiting. The guidelines for these businesses laid out in Governor Holcomb's reopening plan for the state. It's a day many have been waiting for since March, when salons had to close due to coronavirus concerns. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum spoke with the owner of a Fortville hair salon to see how business is looking there and what changes customers can expect to see when they come in for an appointment.
As hair salons across the state open back up today, you'll notice signs like this on the door saying they're taking extra precautions to keep you safe.
Things look a little different right now inside CJ & Co. Hair Designs in Fortville. First and foremost, everyone inside is required to wear a mask at all times. Clients can also expect to have their temperature taken with this no-contact thermometer before being seated for their appointment. Stylists are wearing plastic disposable aprons and changing them between each cut. Stations and tools all being sanitized between each appointment as well.
It's a lot to take in. We have a lot more precautions we're taking, a lot more things to do and think about.
Stylists are also leaving more time in between appointments to make sure they're able to fully clean everything and limit the number of people inside the salon at one time. The owner here says she's hoping that these extra steps will keep people safe while providing an in-demand service to people in the community, and it'll put her stylists back to work. Her message to those who think it may be too soon to open back up:
maybe it is, but I think we have to move forward. I think we have to move forward slowly and safely, and that's what we're trying to do here, to make it as safe as we can.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
And Marion, Monroe, and Cass counties are not included in the reopening of salons starting today because they are on a different schedule of phased reopening. We expect to hear more this week about updated plans for Marion County. Another part of phase 2, restaurants reopening at 50% of capacity, but again, not in Marion, Cass, or Monroe counties. HC Tavern and Kitchen and Fishers had been closed since March 16th, but today they were ready for customers to return. Tables are positioned to allow for social distancing. Employees are wearing protective masks and gloves, and there is hand sanitizer throughout the restaurant. Another safety precaution the restaurant is implementing are single-use menus, which can be thrown away after use.
We're safely and really intentionally taking the safety measures to make it a great dining experience. I know for a fact that people are ready to be served and they're ready to not empty their dishwasher out as many times as they are. Let us do that work. We're here for you.
The restaurant has nearly 200 reservations for tonight alone. So with reduced capacity, if you plan to eat out anywhere, you might consider making a reservation. And coming up tonight on the news at 6, we'll join Brad Brown live in Danville and Hendricks County and check in with more businesses eager to reopen, including the iconic Mayberry Cafe. And as we've mentioned, some businesses were able to open today, but as RTV6's Stephanie Wade speaks with one local family-owned business, not everyone was able to open their doors. She works to find out why the state chose to delay opening campgrounds.
Well, right now, there are only essential workers and full-time RVers staying here at the KOA Campgrounds in Greenfield, when normally this place would be packed this time of year. But according to the state's reopening plan, private campgrounds can't open for 2 more weeks.
I think that is like starting a football game on the third quarter. People here are obviously very spread out. As you can see, our sites are huge.
Spring and summertime play a big part in the family-owned Indianapolis KOA Campgrounds. 90% of their business is RV camping. Typically, they'd be hosting many people right now for the Indy 500 and other events happening in the Circle City. But even without those events, they see no reason why their business has to come to a halt, with campgrounds unable to open until May 24th. According to the state's reopening plan, campgrounds are set to open in phase 3. The same day as gyms, fitness centers, pools, and movie theaters. The operations manager says their playgrounds are closed, recreational areas closed, so everyone is fully contained in their own space.
We really should have never closed. Hotels they have been open the whole entire time, but people can actually park their RV at a hotel, go stay at a hotel, and use someone else's amenities. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
We asked the governor and state health commissioner if they'd reconsider opening today.
And when you talk about campgrounds where people are sleeping, then you've got, the facilities where people use the restroom and they shower and everything else. And the importance of being able to make sure that we have everything in place at those facilities so that we can protect individuals.
How we gradually bring folks back online, we have to spread this out to make sure that the virus isn't spreading and that we can continue to dial up or down as we go. And so they're tough decisions for sure.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Stephanie, thank you. And when they do open, KOA Corporate has provided their 500+ locations across the country with a 37-page manual on how to keep spaces clean and other safety procedures. The Indianapolis KOA will plan on reopening May 24th.
The White House today is recommending that all nursing home residents and staff around the country be tested for coronavirus in the next 2 weeks. Vice President Mike Pence told governors on a video conference call today that it is the federal government's strong recommendation that such testing be done. Another member of the coronavirus task force said this should be done in the next 2 weeks. State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Box was asked about this recommendation today.
To put into perspective, testing every long-term care resident and every employee would be, in the state of Indiana, around 100,000 people within the next 2 weeks. So that is a lot to bite off at one time. I will say that realistically, we already have been messaging with our long-term care facilities that if you have cases, we want your employees to come and get tested. We want to know. And we have gone in and actually helped to test those individuals. And many people in the same ward on the same floor, in the same area, to try to help with this. And so we will, as a state, continue to follow the CMS guidelines and the guidelines that are put out by CMS and work to achieve that.
According to new numbers released today from the state, there have been more than 3,000 positive cases in Indiana's long-term care facilities. That's an increase of 717 over last week. There have been 584 deaths, an increase of 164 since last week. The state reports these numbers weekly. Now for the overall state numbers, there are 32 more deaths reported today between April 24th and yesterday for a total of 1,411. 511 more Hoosiers have tested positive, and nearly 147,000 Hoosiers have been tested. That's an increase of nearly 6,700 from yesterday's number. And today, 30 more testing sites around the state have opened. You've probably seen them in your neighborhood, signs thanking and supporting healthcare workers in the COVID-19 fight. But now, there's a controversy over those signs in one neighborhood. As RTV6's Rafael Sanchez reports, an Indianapolis couple was surprised that during this pandemic, their signs are now considered a problem.
These signs are a point of pride for Damon and Tina Turnmeyer outside their Indianapolis home. Damon works with kids with special needs. He's been on the job for 16 years.
I love working with the kids. I love it. It's one of the most rewarding jobs ever.
His wife, Tina, works at Homeview Health in Franklin, a position she's embraced for over a decade.
I take care of the elderly. They're the most at risk with this virus right now. He takes care of children.
The Turnmeyers have been married for 8 years. Their passion for serving others is highlighted with these signs. One proclaims, "A hero lives here." The other, "We love our hero." But their homeowners association sent them a letter asking them to remove the signs from public view for violating their neighborhood's covenants.
I was enraged. At this present moment in time, we should be able to appreciate and acknowledge what we do.
I was very proud. My mom actually gave it to me. She bought it for all of her daughters and sisters that are currently working. Some of us in the healthcare, some of us in working at Meijer.
In their letter, the HOA gave the couple time to remove the signs before it takes action.
So what do you say to the HOA who's going to say, look, we have rules. If we don't have rules, people will paint their homes pink. They'll put yard signs. They'll put fish tanks in the yard. They'll go crazy. We have to have rules.
And I understand that. Right? With us having a pandemic, my stand is until this pandemic is over, I think that it should be represented that, that we are going to work every day and we are doing what needs to be done to look out for America.
Working for you, Rafael Sanchez, RTV6.
Well, we reached out to Omni Property Management Services. Their board and attorney say no comment. The Turnmeyers have until Thursday to remove the signs or they could face legal action. Over the weekend, Rafael began hearing from teachers who live in HOA neighborhoods who are being warned to remove their appreciation signs from their front yards.
Tonight, the Indianapolis 10-Point Coalition is offering rewards for information in the deaths of 2 young people killed by stray bullets. Early this morning, 10-Point Coalition leader Reverend Charles Harrison tweeted that through an anonymous donation, there is now a $1,000 reward for information in the shooting of 8-year-old Roderick Payne Jr. and a $1,000 reward in the shooting death of 16-year-old Nia Pope. Now, the rewards are for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those involved. A stray bullet came through the home where Roderick was finishing dinner the night of March 31st in the 3200 block of Tacoma. Nia was killed in the early morning hours of May 3rd. She was with her family in a vehicle near 38th and Arlington when she was hit by a stray bullet. So far, police do not have any suspects in either shooting. If you have any information, contact Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS.
A local Christian group is making sure that no family goes without food. Just ahead, we'll show you how they're taking their ministry to the doorsteps of those in need.
And one more night where we're going to have to protect those plants. A frost advisory for many of us, but warmer days ahead when we'll climb close to 80 degrees.
Organizations are going above and beyond to give out food to those who need it. But what if you can't get the food? Well, RTV6's Troy Washington is working for you, introducing us to a group that is taking the food to the doorsteps of those who need it.
Work doesn't seem to slow down for City Life Ministry Director Daniel Marquez and the rest of the volunteers with Youth for Christ.
We're all about finding and meeting the need, wherever the needs exist. So if you think about places like 42nd and Post or the near west side of Indianapolis, 16th Street down through Tibbs and those kinds of areas, we know that there are people that, just had, there's some needs there. And so what we do is we try to not only meet the needs, but actually build relationships.
When schools closed their doors, Marquez says he knew that would leave some families hungry. He also knows not everyone has a ride to pick up food, even if it's being handed out for free.
We saw the need to start delivering food to the homes of the students that we serve because in some cases they just didn't have access to the food. So either mom or dad is working and they're using the cars. In other cases, they outright just don't have cars and the ability to get to the schools.
RTV6 asked Marquez how they even know which families need their help. He says they are able to identify who needs what just by building relationships in the communities they serve.
We pretty much go through an entire community and find the students where they are.
And when they do stop by to help.
We don't just come to the home and just drop off food. We actually take a moment to engage them and ask what's going on in their world.
On top of that, volunteers are particular about what goes into each package of food for families.
We're not just giving snacks and cakes and Little Debbies and those kinds of things. We're making sure that they have whole meals.
These meal packages are packed full with not only one meal, but a few different meal combinations, including essentials like toilet paper. So that even from a distance, these families are being fed physically while their emotional and spiritual needs are being filled too. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Well, according to the organization, their efforts wouldn't be possible if it weren't for Eagle Church, Gleaners Food Bank, and Shepherd Community Center. We've got details on how you can help this effort when you read this story on theindychannel.com.
And now to your Storm Team 6 forecast. Another unseasonably cool May day, but things are going to get better from here, right, Kyle?
Yeah, Amanda, things are going to start to feel better. I think we could all use a warm-up at this point, just not getting it today. It continues to feel more March-like than May-like across central Indiana. Our temperatures were stuck in the 40s. We're still sitting in the upper 40s right now. 48 degrees. That west breeze and the cloud cover isn't helping it to feel any warmer either. That blanket of clouds, may see a spotty sprinkle out of that. That'll be about it, and we'll gradually thin out those clouds a little bit here as we go into tonight. Thought we were done with the wind chill map, but I wanted to break this out and show you that it does feel a bit cooler for us. It feels like we're barely in the 40s in Indianapolis and Muncie with that wind chill at 42 degrees. So you're going to need to layer up for the walk this evening. Ben, though, I think is going to stay inside and party for his first birthday. Happy birthday to him. The temperatures are going to be in the middle 40s here as we get to around 11 o'clock. And by tomorrow morning, we are going to have some areas of frost around. You notice around Richmond, I think the eastern portion of central Indiana will be the coldest, right around that freezing mark, 37 in Indianapolis, Lafayette, and the Terre Haute areas. On Tuesday, good deal of cloud cover once again. I think we'll see a few more breaks of sunshine than what we had today, and temperatures, they start to gradually warm up here. We'll get close to 60 degrees Tuesday afternoon. Keep in mind, though, the average high is in the lower 70s, so we're still missing that mark by about 10 degrees here. 59 for your high in Indianapolis. We'll get right around 60 in Lafayette, Bloomington, and Columbus for the afternoon. But things are going to feel a whole lot better here as we get toward Thursday. In fact, it may feel like a bit of a heat wave because our temperatures are going to jump above average at even close to 80 degrees. Now, it looks like we're going to hold on to that warmth even as we go into the upcoming weekend for us. We put it all together now in that 7-day planning forecast. There is going to be a trade-off. So the next couple of days, our weather is fairly quiet, maybe a stray shower or two as we go into Wednesday with a high of 61. But as we make that temperature jump here on Thursday at 77, we got a 40% chance for some showers and thunderstorms. We're going to keep that scattered shower and thunderstorm chance as we go through the next several days. That does include the upcoming weekend. But as you look at those low.
Now still ahead, a great reason to look up tomorrow afternoon. The rare sight in the sky to honor those fighting COVID-19.
RTV6 app on your phone or streaming device.
Welcome back. The weather should cooperate for a spectacular sight over Indianapolis tomorrow afternoon, a flyover by the Blue Angels. The Navy's Blue Angels will be honoring healthcare workers, first responders, and other essential workers serving on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic. It will take 11 minutes as they come into sight over Beech Grove at 2 o'clock, head northwest over Claremont, come south near the airport, then back east, west toward downtown, north to I-465, then to Castleton, back south over Lawrence, and then head west again over Indianapolis. And we have been highlighting businesses still hiring during the pandemic. The Indianapolis Fire Department is looking for more firefighters. Tonight at 6, we'll show you what it takes to join some of Indy's bravest on the front lines. We'll be back to join you with the news at 6.